Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. As we all know, that Warner Brothers has completely and totally rebooted its DC universe, and now we have official one of our next announcements out there for the casting of none other than Green Lantern's very own John Stewart, which of course John Stewart is one of Green Lantern, is a fan favorite of a lot of the Green Lantern fans out there. The guy with a strong military background, of course, is a fan for a vet like me out there, but of course everybody knows and loves Hal Jordan. So this is going to be part of a new series coming out there from HBO Max in the DC universe out there, where it's going to be kind of a Green Lantern series starring Hal Jordan and John Stewart both in it, as kind of a cop drama, kind of a serial series out there, because I mean Green Lanterns are essentially space cops, really more earth and grounded, because well, at the end of the day, Warner Brothers is quite broke right now, and space movies and television shows are very expensive to do because of all the CGI and the sets and everything else. So that's one of the reasons why they're doing it in this kind of style out there. And honestly, with the kind of pick that we've got here today, I don't have a problem with it. I think a lot of the casting currently from DC and Warner Brothers out there has been really, really good and really, really spot on. And it looks like this guy might be another one's out there, and he comes with a little bit of DC pedigree himself out there, so he might actually know a little bit of this, and he seems like he's very excited about the future of this role and him taking up the mantle of Green Lantern. And you know what? That's always a good sign as well, especially in the past when all of the ridiculous marketing we've seen about these characters and them pushing agendas with this stuff. And it looks like we are not going to get that with this one, ladies and gentlemen. So from our dear sweet friend Matt McGloin over at Cosmic Book News, Green Lantern Aaron Pierre is cast as John Stewart. So we're going to get into this article from Cosmic Book News, getting all of the juicy details, a little bit about the background of this show, as well as who all's involved in it, as well as the background behind Aaron Pierre, as well as why we think he might end up being a good Green Lantern and a good John Stewart. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you like this casting right here? Were you hoping for someone else, or are you all just kind of sitting back and waiting to see what the future of the DC universe actually holds, and whether or not James Gunn and Peter Safran can pull this off? Let us know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. So, Green Lantern Aaron Pierre cast as John Stewart. James Gunn and the DCU have found their Green Lantern, John Stewart. And it's Aaron Pierre, who previously said to be up for the role. And that's one of the other things that a lot of the scoopers, a lot of the speculators, a lot of the rumor mill had been saying, that this guy was up for the role in the past. And that's why we talk about that stuff. That's why we report on the rumor mill, at least when it comes from relatively reliable sources who have been right in the past time and time again. And it looks like, once again, just like a lot of the casting rumors we talked about with James Cornsweet, with Superman, and of course the Lois Lane, who once again, I think both of those castings are incredibly spot on, and our Lois Lane is chef's kiss. But needless to say, this is why we talk about this stuff in the past, and once again, it turns out another one of them is true. The 30-year-old actor will star opposite the 59-year-old Kyle Chandler, who is playing Hal Jordan. Warner Brothers confirmed the casting of Pierre, and James Gunn confirmed the casting of both. Welcome to DC, Aaron Pierre. After a long and grueling series of auditions, I am absolutely sure we have found an incredible John Stewart, said Gunn, adding, welcome to the DCU, Kyle Chandler. Now our Hal Jordan in Lanterns. So yes, boys and girls, all in one big confirmation, confirming a lot of stuff that had been floating around in the rumor mill. Yes, Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre are now our Green Lanterns in the series going forward. And I think that's cool. I will be curious to see how this ends up pulling up, because one of the other things that they compared this to was like True Detective and in that kind of style. And honestly, the first season of True Detective is probably one of the greatest seasons of television, especially as a standalone, in all of history. It is really good. If you have not seen it, go out there and watch it. Everything else after that, but the first one's really good. And if they're able to pull this off with a Green Lantern, like kind of the sci-fi superhero feel, that would be really cool. Everybody's loving the Penguin after all. So, of course, Aaron Pierre now confirmed this out there on his Instagram as well. You can see here the article as well. Looks like it's probably from Variety or something like that. But as you can see, Lanterns, Aaron Pierre cast as John Stewart in HBO's DC series. And there you got a picture of him right there. And of course, I'm really kind of hoping we go with maybe no mustache, no facial hair, or maybe just at least like the small kind of like military mustache. Because with John's history of being a military guy back there, but a lot of the guys that get out afterwards, especially if they were like 20-year guys who retired and stuff like that. Most of them never go past much of like the regulation mustache, unless, of course, they're one of those wild people that decides to grow out a full beard. But that was never the Jon Stewart we got in the comics. And I would like to see the no-nonsense military leader kind of Jon Stewart that we got in the comics. And, of course, in the most beloved out there animated series of one of the most beloved animated series of out there of all time, Justice League, the animated series, which was absolutely incredible. If you haven't gone and watched it, I highly recommend it. It is one of the greatest representations of DC characters of all time out there. So this is what he puts out here, and I like this. Says, tremendously honored and abundantly grateful. A dream come true. Thank you all for the love and beautiful energy. Thank you for welcoming me to DC. Let's work. And I like that. That's a good attitude to come in here with. And obviously this guy's already in pretty good shape. But of course, if you want to be John Lantern, if you want to be a proper superhero, I'm sure he'll probably put on some pounds, hit the gym, just like what we saw at David Corn Sweat, which boy put the work in from what a skinny little farm boy he looked like before. So this, I think, could be a good thing. I think this could end up panning out really well. So we've got a little bit of this over here as well. So we've got some more information as far as it comes to the series as well. So the pair starring in the Lantern series described as similar to True Detective, which follows Hal Jordan, a legend amongst the space police force known as the Green Lanterns, as he reluctantly mentors a young Green Lantern, John Stewart. The two's intergalactic cops get drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. See, and that's what I was talking about. They're going to make it more a ground-based kind of murder mystery thing, and I like this idea. I'm totally okay with this. And look, I get it. Warner Brothers is broke right now. They can only do so much. But if this series is successful, if it does well, and they make money at the box office from their movies and stuff like that, we will get that big, more explosive, action-packed, space-based version of the Green Lanterns out there. This stuff just has to succeed first. But that also means it has to be good. Because if it's not, it will fail, and they will have no one to blame but themselves. They will, after all, have done it to themselves. So recently also saw the news that James Hawes will be directing the first two episodes, who is known for the episodes of Slow Horses, Raised by Wolves, Snowpiercer, which I've heard really good things about, Black Mirror, also heard really good things about, The Alienist, The Mist, Penny Dreadful, which I absolutely loved, and more. He also directed One Life starring Anthony Hopkins. Ozark's Chris Mundy is serving as the showrunner. Nothing but good things about Ozark. Lanterns also hails from Damon Lindelof and DC Comics book writer Tom King. That's the part that makes us all really uncomfortable and really the more cautious side of being optimistic about the future of James Gunn's, because we've seen what Tom King's done in the comics, and yeah, nobody wants any part of that in any future DC projects, but them's the bricks sometimes. Hopefully it's just an advisory role and he's just getting a paycheck. Aaron Pierre is known for Netflix's Rebel Ridge, which is also topping the Netflix charts. He's known for Genius. He's also known for Genius, is voicing Mufasa's in Disney's upcoming Lion King. We won't have that against him. And starred in M. Night Shyamalan's Old and the Underground Railroad. Pierre also comes with some DC cred, as he starred in sci-fi's Superman prequel Krypton series as Dev and Men. So this is not the first time we've seen him in the DC universe, which honestly gives me a little cautious optimism. We've seen a lot of this kind of stuff, how it's worked out in the past for them to use characters or actors that have been involved in DC projects in the past, using them going forward. We saw a lot of the voice acting cast that was actually the stars from Smallville and vice versa. And that's one of the things that I like to see, that kind of stuff. It seems like a lot of the people that have been involved with DC for a long time, or fans of DC, and even either have fell in love with the characters through the projects or because they were already fans to begin with and have really brought the characters to life. As far as whether or not Aaron Pierre is a big fan of the Green Lanterns, we have no idea. But if he's a good quality, competent actor, he can do the research, he can go through and do all of that kind of stuff, he can look into it. And what from James Gunn has been showing us in set photos, he is having his actors go through and learn the source material. And if that ends up being the case, if they stick to the source material, if they do a good representation of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan and show them off to be the heroes they can be as the characters that we all know and love, this will end up being successful. At the end of the day, if you make the fans happy, we will make you rich. If you piss us off, we will criticize you, roast you, walk away from all your projects, make sure everybody hears about it, and watch you fail into oblivion. At the end of the day, this could be a very, very good thing. And I am still cautiously optimistic. I will always try to be until they give us a reason not to be. Because at the end of the day, James Gunn, Aaron Pierre, and everybody else involved in DC Studios, you will get exactly what you deserve. Make the fans happy and we'll make you rich.